What's up, everyone? Welcome to kind of a new section on my page, channel, however you want to refer to it. I know not a lot of people are into paranormal stuff, and if you're not, then just go ahead and kind of exit this section then, and kind of stick to my other things. I actually really wanted to have one of these up a long time ago to kind of help establish that this was going to be part of my page, not just video game playing, but of course there is video game footage in the background of some freaky games I've played already, just to kind of help with the ambiance instead of just having like a blank screen or pictures. And these stories that I'll be saying, or that I'll be telling, I should say, sorry, are true. They have happened to me or members of my family or close people to my family. And if you don't believe in this sort of thing, that's cool. I completely understand. And congratulations that you haven't had to deal with anything like this stuff, be it just a small occurrence or something kind of major. So there is no embellishing on these stories. They are what they are. If it's scary to you, then it's scary. If it's kind of like, oh, that wasn't scary, then it's not scary. So let's go ahead and get this going. And the first one I'm kind of thinking of is, well, it was back when I was really young. I was with my mom and my sister, and I'm gonna really kind of butcher this a little bit, I think, just because I'm going based on memory. It's been so long, I cannot remember the woman's name. But there was this woman that lived kind of nearby us, and she was a really big paranormal person, and she was really into that type of thing. And there was a psychic that she always dealt with. I want to say his name was Dave or David. My mom, I could probably call her right now and ask, and she'd be able to tell me. But he's a pretty good psychic. My mom actually used him one time. She had lost her wedding ring and for the life of her could not find it, and she called him. He already knew why she was calling and basically told her just to wait a second, and sure enough he came up and told her where she needed to look, and she found her ring. So anyway, back to the story. Kind of what was it? I want to say her name was, I don't know why I'm thinking Dorothy. It's not Dorothy, I don't think, but we'll call her Dorothy. I'm sorry. And I apologize, Mom, if you happen to know and you watch this video, then go ahead and comment what her real name was. I can't remember. But she was an older woman. She had some tragedy in her life, and she used this guy, David, quite a bit to try to hold seances. And for anybody who knows what a seance is, it's you get somebody who can kind of do this thing, and they, open up portals and try to get the person that we're trying to correspond with to come through. That the reason why you want somebody who knows what they're doing is obviously you can let something seriously bad in. Well, she used to, I guess this woman played with the Ouija board and other stuff without him, but she would use him a lot when she had, I guess, the resources to. Obviously, you just can't. This guy lives somewhere, so he couldn't be there all the time. So weird stuff would happen at her place. Before I get into the seance thing, that I was there was. It's a 2-story house that this woman lives in, and apparently she very rarely doesn't use the top floor. I can't remember. I think she was old, so it was very hard for her to get up and down. So of course there would be people that drive by the house. Her house was kind of right off the road, and they would always see like lights up in her upstairs, like the bedroom area, that were on. And of course when they got home or whatever, they'd call her. This is before cell phones were really big. I think cell phones were out, but I mean, we're talking way back. And they would call her and say, hey, listen, Dorothy, there's a light on upstairs. And Dorothy would be like, no, there isn't. I'm not up there, and yada. Well, sure enough, she would find out there'd be a light on up there, and she'd have to go up there and shut it off, which was a pretty big task for her being old and everything. And so finally it got to the point where she actually took the light bulb out of, the light, I guess you'd say the overhead light in the bedroom or whatever. And I think I skipped something, but like a few times before that, before she took it out, oh my god, I'm so sorry. No, she took it out, but then, or she would turn it off and the light would come back on or whatever. So finally she got sick and tired of it and had the light taken out by somebody took the light out, or just a bulb out, whatever. But this kept happening. People would drive by, the light would be on, there'd be a light up there, and she'd be like, no, there can't be a light on, there's no bulb in there, yada. Well, one time somebody came by and said, hey, your light's on upstairs. And she's like, no, it's not. But they both looked up, the staircase, and they could see a light. So they walk upstairs, investigate, they go in this room, and it is just lit up. I mean, we're talking, a light that is very bright, and they can't describe it. It's not coming from anywhere particular. It's just the whole room is lit up. And of course, naturally, the first thing is look at the light bulb, where the light bulb is. No light bulb, but this room is bright and lit up. So I'm not exactly sure what the cause was, or if she even fixed it, or fixed it, so to speak, paranormally. And so, and through David, he kind of helped with some things. So getting to the night that we went there, it was me, my mom, my sister. This guy David, I think his name's David, I'm sorry if it's not. If the guy's still alive, he's probably like, you're telling it wrong right now, because that's how much I believe this guy knew what he was doing, with the stories that I've heard. And then this woman, Dorothy, that's what we're calling her, Dorothy, I can't remember her name, could very well be her name too. So we're sitting there, and they're doing all this stuff. Of course, me and my sister's 2 years older than me, I'm young, and so I'm not really paying attention to what's happening, what David or Dave is doing. I know it started with a D, I'm pretty sure. But I'm sorry, it's like my mind just wants me to figure out this name of this guy. But anyway, the things going on, weird stuff started happening. There was some weird noises as he was doing the seance. Like I said, I'm sorry I can't describe what he was doing, but it was a lot of talk and a lot of him just concentrating. And the biggest thing I remember is when he was channeling in spirits, we saw orbs. Now, I know what people are thinking, it could be lights from cars passing by. No, this is not possible. These were ball of orbs. Actually, it kind of looked like they were circling the house. Now, when I say kind of looked like they were circling the house on the outside, is because he was sitting against a window. There was two windows in the living room. One was kind of in front of us, but beside where he was. And then there was one beside of us on the other side of the room. So picture, obviously 2 walls. Well, 4 walls, but the two walls have windows outside on them. And you'd see these orbs kind of streak across the window from one side. They'd streak in the window. Some of them would come right in the window that he was, where he was sitting, and kind of just like enter him. When this happened, now this was freaky because we were using candles. There was no lights, and the room was pretty good lit with candles. And of course, one of the candles was kind of sitting in front of him in the middle of the room, in the middle of us. And you could see his shadow. Of course, the candles would move. You know how candles flicker, even when there's not a whole lot of air moving, every now and again. But as these orbs were coming in, the candles would not move that much. It was like they were being uninterrupted. Sometimes it would. Sometimes the candle would rise a little higher when one would pass over or something. But his shadow was on the wall. And of course, you figure, when there's a candle on a table when you're sitting there, your shadow's of course higher, normal, and his shadow would grow, and there was no cause for it. The flame wasn't getting big at these points or dying out, so it would kind of cast a lower or higher shadow. But his shadow would go from, like, say if it was a person standing up, from like 4.5 feet to 6-7 feet. His shadow would change, his width would change, and I was watching that, and I can't remember if my sister or my mom said something, or it was said out loud, but his face would change. Like, not his facial features, well, his facial features, but not his, like, expression. But it would just change, and it was very freaky. It was very interesting, too. I don't remember being super freaked out. I think he was doing a very good job at keeping out, I guess you'd say, the bad spirits. Like I said, he was doing the channeling. And, while this is happening, these orbs or balls of energy are going into him kind of one after another. Not rapid fire, but pretty steady. They would come in one window, go through the room, and, just go into him. His, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember. But, like I said, his shadow would change, his face would change. And, there was nothing super freaky that happened. It was actually very cool, very interesting, and I know it's not, it's probably kind of boring to you, but like to me, being there, I can't remember how old I was. I think I was, oh my gosh, say around 10, give or take a year or two either way, and maybe a little bit older. My mom, like I said, would be able to help me out here a little bit more, but like it was just crazy, man. It was like, we've had stuff happen to me before. Well, me and the family. But, like, this was my first ever, thing of being able to see somebody open up a portal. I mean, the orbs and the way he was changing his figure of his face, and just the way his shadow would cast was just freaking weird, man. It was just crazy. And if I remember correctly, Dorothy was trying to always get in contact with the son. I think she had a son that passed away. I could be wrong again there, but it was somebody close to her. That's why she was super, just that creepy old woman. But she wasn't really creepy. She was a very nice woman. But just all this stuff would always happen at her house. Weird stuff. And it was said that she had a portal open, I think, somewhere off of her kitchen, and it was left open because she always wanted to be able to have her son come back and see her whenever. It was very freaky, and man, I tell you, I'm freaked out even by talking about it right now when I think about what might have been let in and what might be affecting me now in life. I don't know if that is it, or it's just the fact that maybe my family, as far as stuff happens, has this energy that comes off of us that attracts this type of thing. But I'll be getting into more stories later. I'm sorry that this wasn't like super oh my god, and I don't want to go over the top. I put a little bit of music in the background and put a gameplay, or kind of like a gameplay footage that kind of went with the video, just so you would have something to look at if you didn't want to go ahead and do whatever. But like I said, none of my stories I feel are gonna be like, oh my god, because there's plenty of channels out there that over embellish stories, have this narrator that has a voice and perfect type of timing and takes the time out to really punch through certain things. But this is just gonna be my stories, and I hope you enjoy them. I'm gonna be doing another one here shortly, and we'll post that up. Like I said, it's just the kind of time of the year that I feel like, hey, this is a good time to kind of let some of these things out that's happened to me. And of course, the other stories that I'll be talking about will be probably more interesting. They'll be more, how would I say, I'll be able to describe a lot more than just what I was able to describe. But like I said, this night, I don't think I'll ever forget. Yes, I have forgot some of the things, but as far as what I saw and the eeriness and the feeling of being on your own, even though I was sitting between my mom and my sister in a room with 2 other people as well, it was, you just felt like, anything could happen to any single one of you. It was just a very cool night. And anyway, I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed that little story. Like I said, I'm sorry it wasn't super, in your face, giving you goosebumps. If it did, then you probably kind of know what I was seeing or what I was feeling based on maybe experience that you had. And if you have had an experience, please go ahead and send me a message about it, or you can put it in the comments. And I'm thinking about, once I've kind of used up my stories, I don't think I'll ever run out of stories per se, because stuff still kind of happens in my life, but nothing as good as some of the stuff that I have that I will talk about in future episodes. So maybe once this channel or this section has kind of calmed down, maybe if you have stories, I'll go ahead and I'll kind of read them and maybe give you some insight on what I think, or if I can. I'm not a super, I'm not a paranormal investigator, so I can't tell you, why or why not, but I can give an opinion. And again, for those that decide to watch, even though you're not into this, I do appreciate you sticking through it. And like I said, if you don't like this kind of thing, then just kind of ignore these videos. I'll still be doing my regular gameplays and other stuff like that, so there's nothing to worry about there. But until the next one, peace.